So that's on. I'm gonna switch off the mic.
You're so another day might be too late.
Two minutes. Got 2 minutes. I'm gonna put the mics up so you don't talk.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Betsy Wiersma,
And I'm Rhonda Shea.
and you're listening to Boost Powder Radio as you plug in for some uplifting ideas from super cool women to support you in your world, sister style. We're here for you to discover people's journeys and the choice points along the way that made them who they are today, to give you some insights for your own journey. And we always want to inspire you and connect you to great people, places, and things for your great life. But it's all about the fun, right, Rhonda?
Oh, yep, it's always about the fun. We have a great time here.
We always have a good time. Well, Rhonda, who are our first guests today?
Oh my gosh, we have got so many great people today. But Hillary Baskins, I was hoping she was from Baskin Robbins, but no
Yes,
ice
you can just call
cream.
me Dr. Jamocha Almond Fudge.
There you go. Hillary Baskins and KJ Mason, and they're from All About Braces. We're going to talk to them about oral and orthodontic care, how important it is, and plus all of the amazing things that they're doing in our community because they're reaching out to make sure that others get the care that they need. And they also gather socks.
Oh, it's a
Socks
long
and-
story, but it's a good story. We're going to talk about socks and smiles with them. Then we have Cheryl Talley from Catholic Charities. And Cheryl is a fantastic human being who is dedicated to service. She runs all the marketing and outreach for Catholic Charities, and it is a big job. It is a big old job.
It's bigger than people think.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
huge. She's going to tell us all about the outreach, but we're going to concentrate on the women's shelter, the Samaritan House, because they're having a party,
Ooh,
the Sam Supper. I actually was going to ask you to be my date. It's coming up in September, but I know you have so many events in September.
Let's see if we can
We're
get
going
there.
to talk about that, the Sam Supper, and I'm looking for a date list, so we'll talk about that more later.
What happened to your husband?
Oh, yeah, I have a husband.
Yeah.
So anyway, a date list.
Wait a minute.
I love you, Doug. And we're always going to have fun. Are we ready for our first interview?
Oh, yeah, let's get going.
Okay, our first guest. Welcome, KJ and Hillary, to Boost Power Radio.
Thank you so much for having us today.
It's so fun to see people come to the show that really maybe haven't been in radio or interviewed, and just your light, and it's so fun to see you here having fun. So welcome, because you're always behind the scenes helping people. I know that about both of you.
We appreciate the fact that you're doing this, and we love to be here.
Yes. Well, okay. So tell them a little bit about first the umbrella of all the companies, because you say, oh, you help people with orthodontics, but you have lots of brands and lots of things. So start a little bit about who your company is, and then we want to hear about the story of how you got there.
Okay. So 12 years ago, my business partner, David Marchand, and I started All About Braces. He actually had worked for me as a dental assistant before he went back to dental engineering school. And we grew that company and did great. And then 3 years ago, we were blessed to meet Dr. Jim Mason, who's KJ's dad, and we incorporated our two businesses together. Unfortunately, he passed shortly after the purchase, and we wanted to And we wanted to honor that brand and the legacy he had. And so we kept the two names to continue his legacy.
Right. So tell the viewers, because they don't know all the names. So
All About Braces and Colorado Orthodontics. And our mission is to create happiness one smile at a time.
Wow.
I like that mission. It's a cool mission. And you guys have beautiful smiles. I mean, I'm like jealous.
You don't have to be jealous. We have patients of all ages. We'd love to have you in our office as well.
I'm gonna send my husband. He needs help.
Well, that's what I want to talk about today, because I think, first you think about orthodontics and you think about, for me, my retainer when I was in junior high, right? But I think orthodontics, as we know, because we've been looking in my mouth, is very important for every age. So tell the people listening a little bit about what they might not know about, what happens in your mouth and how it affects the rest of your health.
So the first thing that I need to say is that kids don't need to be evaluated once they have all their adult teeth. Sometimes people think they need to wait until all the adult teeth are ready to be cleared, and that's just not the case. Often we can handle things much more easily, effectively, and less expensively if we're doing growth and development. And that's really what we do with young kids with phase 1 treatment. But we see patients age 7 to 77 or beyond. With adults, it's huge as far as being able to get an implant. Maybe your teeth are too crowded and you need ortho to upright the teeth. Or you have periodontal disease, and orthodontics can help alleviate that situation. And it's not Marsha Brady, ugly braces anymore. We have all sorts of options.
Marsha Brady.
Did Marsha Brady get her braces stuck kissing a boy with braces?
Yeah, that did not happen.
That's also a fun fact. Yeah.
That's never happened.
Never happened. Or at least never happened that I've witnessed.
Okay.
I don't think with Invisalign you would hook up too
No,
much.
so that's what I was
maybe,
going to say. Clear aligners are probably one of the biggest revolutions we've had in our industry. And so, adults who don't want to have metal mouth, train tracks, all the names that we used to call in the 70s, 80s, don't have to happen anymore. We have clear aligners. They're removable, easy to keep clean, and can be effective in moving teeth both for kids and adults.
Dr. Baskin, debunking bracing myths.
That's right. Just when you thought
Urban
you were
legend.
kissing
No
anybody
kissing and
else
sticking
with
braces
braces.
together.
That's right.
Go to Invisalign, right? That's really cool.
Well, I'm curious about that, though, because now it seems like, just like in many industries, we've had Dr. Lynn Hellerstein in here. Mm-hmm. And now everybody, look in this computer app and we'll send you your glasses, right? And she's like horrified.
Right.
And now everybody seems to be selling Invisalign. Like, hi, just smile into your app and let us fix your teeth. So how does the consumer, because we're talking to the world here, how do they know the questions to really ask before they start messing around with their smile?
So the first thing is that they should really be seeing a member of the American Association of Orthodontists. Even internationally, we have international members of our professional organization. So there are a lot of people who are doing clear aligners, and it's not just Invisalign. That's something else we can talk about. There's lots of options for clear aligners. But I am very nervous, as is our entire profession, about the new do-it-yourself.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I'd be afraid.
Yeah,
what if you mess up a tooth? We all screwed up.
That's exactly right.
So not only that, there's lots of
and it costs you 5 times.
Exactly. You wouldn't try to do your own heart surgery. Why would you try to do something?
Here's the thing: if you mess it up, and then you go in, it could cost you literally thousands more, and you might not be covered yourself.
Correct.
Yeah, Dr. Baskin just showed me the other day a picture of somebody with clear aligners from another company that was online DIY, and they lost a tooth in the aligner.
The aligner was holding the tooth stronger than the bone was holding the tooth.
Oh my God.
The tooth should have never been moved.
Oh, that's just a scary story.
Yes. So
Well,
do it yourself.
I don't like to do yourself hearing aids, do it yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, really, you're right about the
Find
doctor.
the trained professional.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
really,
what we say about the glasses, that you can really mess up your eyes by getting poor prescriptions that are not, even if it's the correct prescription, it's the wrong place in the glasses. So
right.
Beware buyers.
That's right. An orthodontist has gone to at least 2 or 3 additional years after dental school to really learn about your bite, your growth and development, and what is going to be the best treatment for you.
Well, I know your whole practice is so involved with many things in the community, and I thought it was nice of KJ to wear a whole getup today.
Yeah,
Yes,
follow
I'm
with the
definitely
dots.
dressed. I was actually at a faith run this morning for Faith Christian School, and Dr. Baskin and Dr. Mershon sponsor that. They
That's
also do folders in all of the schools all over the Denver area. Probably like give back. I mean, it's probably hundreds and thousands of folders stuff into schools. And then if people are referred by schools, they give back that way as well by giving $250 back to the schools every time patients start with us.
That's really
So they're
nice.
constantly giving back to the community.
That's great.
And my favorite, let's talk about my favorite promotion. Tell them,
It was
Hillary.
socks and smiles. We were going to say foot and mouth, but socks and
Oh,
smiles.
there you go, yeah.
Yes, disease like.
I love
Food
it.
disease like in the mouth.
So bring in a wonderful.
And I brought some today.
Yes,
I
so-
brought you a donation to on
Oh,
behalf of
excellent.
Rhonda.
Yeah,
We
so
brought you socks, Rhonda. We brought socks.
Oh, that's good.
So not only is this wonderful to help people who really are in need, but Betsy, you can use this to get $250 off the price of your treatment.
That's good.
So,
wow,
You know,
that's
I need
awesome.
treatment. And we're going to be passing all these out at camp, and actually we're kind of encouraging people to bring socks to camp. That's kind of part of Socks and Smiles, and we're going to have to talk about that and then talk about all the donations you have. And we're going to match some of those donations and give them to you.
Yay, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so we have some things up our sleeve. But, you know, I just think, again, it's so important that what you see in your entire positioning in the community is to be a partner with the family. To understand that just going into orthodontics is a big deal. It's a financial investment, but it's also the kid participating and learning. Okay, I'm talking from my past, aren't I?
Yes.
Well, we see kids as early as age 7, and I am lucky that I get to do the new patient consultations for Dr. Baskin and Dr. Michon and the other doctors. And kids come in and they won't smile. They cover their mouth the whole time in that consultation. They're shy. They've been bullied. And then all of a sudden, after we've developed that first initial relationship, now we have a usually around 2-year relationship with them. And at the end, they're glowing, their confidence changes, and so they want that good experience the whole time. So whenever we see them outside of the office, it makes it that much more fun seeing them in the community.
Well, as you know, Rhonda and I both, because of Camp Wapiapi and Camp Experience, you know, we're both just face forward into how do we do good and have fun, right? And if making the first patient visit is fun, or if bringing socks to know that you're making a difference in the community is fun, if it gets people to understand the brand, you know, there's a lot of people out there that just want to choose a brand that really has a personality.
I think they want to choose a brand that and a company that clearly are good corporate citizens. And I think that particularly when it's a service field and it's a field where you have medical professionals, people want to know that the people in that office and people in that field really care about people. It's a good way to show them that it's not just about selling your braces. It's more than, it's not even that. It's about making you healthy. You know?
And we're blessed with an unbelievable team. KJ obviously is one of our star members, but we've had them help us make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to distribute.
That's awesome.
We've gone to Ronald McDonald and served food. We really have a group that
Well, as healthcare
Yes.
professionals and working in that field,
feels that.
it's really, I think, a great thing when you see your healthcare professionals concerned about the whole health of everybody. And so it's really cool.
And let's say nice things about Owen.
Yes,
Because
of
even though it's a girl
course.
show, you know, he's the man in the mix here.
No one
Yes,
does
that
the
is
5K
true.
right now. I left him there to run it.
Love you, Owen. Owen, we love you.
She was
Love
she's
you,
in
Owen.
great
That's
shape. She
right.
must have took off and ran it. She was standing next to me in the picture. I'm like, I don't want to stand by her.
Oh my gosh, you're doing that.
You broke my rule. I don't stand next to people who are taller, skinnier.
No negative self-talk. I'm just telling you. Well, I want to know the story behind the story now. So that's the business story, and we get what you do, and we can talk forever probably about all the reasons to do it. But like, why would two amazing women like you choose this path? So I want to talk a little bit. So KJ, like, what inspired you? In your generation has so many different choices. Like, you know, I'm kind of feeling like our generation a little bit, but your generation. What inspired you to be in this really traditional field that is changing, of course, with technology? And what's your story?
So I would have to say, so I went to college and I'm the baby of 7, and my dad was an orthodontist. So since I was a baby, I constantly followed my siblings, and so after I finished my 4 years, my sister was like, so now it's time for you to move to Denver where I am, and I'm like, okay. And then my dad's like, what are you going to do for work? Do you want to work for me? And I remember growing up, going to his offices, always being there whenever I was younger. And he was so passionate about what he did, and he always came home smiling. And whenever they were out and about doing different things, people knew who he was. Like even when we go to Bronco games, we would see patients or different things. So I just found that he loved it so much, so I went into the offices and started working there, and it was, you can't not be passionate about it. You're mainly working with either young kids or adults that want to come see you.
Mhm.
They want to be there most of the time. I know some kids don't want braces, but that's why we
But
have
they want the
clear
results.
liners.
They want the
Exactly.
results, and so they're
And
happy
they're
when they get
excited.
it. Yeah.
So it's, we're in a society where it seems that they make us feel good and we want to do them, which that's, very true. But at the end of the day, I feel really good about my job. And then whenever everything happened with my dad and he was looking for people to buy the company, we were actually like almost selling it to someone else. And then we luckily found Dr. Baskin and Dr. Michon and Owen and reached out to them one more time. They've been interested in one practice. And we were like, they won't want 3 more. They already have 3. And it just couldn't have been a better fit. They're family owned, just like my dad was.
Mhm.
They're all about the patients, and it just makes
And where are the
fun.
locations?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, Rhonda.
Is it on the back here?
It's
Let's
on
see.
the back. But do you have
Highlands
another
Ranch,
one even?
Nevada.
So we're throughout Greater Denver, as far north as Thornton, as far south as Highlands Ranch. We have one in
Logo,
Logo.
yeah.
That's right.
That's great. Look at this. Aurora,
Yeah, they're all
Denver,
out.
Lakewood, South Aurora, North Aurora,
And it's
Nevada.
not just Dr. Marchand and myself. We
Highlands.
also have Dr. Crystal Baumgartner, Dr. Shane Peltz, Dr. James Bloom, and Dr. Teresa Schaefer. So we're really an amazing team of wonderful providers. And I'm super blessed that we have both amazing docs and amazing team members.
Yeah, we're good. And KJ,
And that's fun about our job too. Is I feel lucky that we get to work with most of the people there are either a male doctor, and then a lot of people that are surrounded are women working in the field, and it's just fun to be surrounded by such fun women every day that I get to work with.
Okay, so Hillary, what about you? What was your path to kind of getting in this industry?
So I used to want to be a veterinarian, and I wanted to work in a zoo. And whenever I would chat with people, they'd say, "Oh, you're too small. You're never going to have the strength, and your hands are too small." Well, one summer I spent working at the NYU Clinic for special needs kids, and I got the totally opposite reaction. Parents were saying to me, "Your hands are so small. You can take care of my kid who usually is so apprehensive about being in the dental chair." And that positive
Wow.
reinforcement just really encouraged me. Part of why I had pushed it away was, unlike KJ, my dad is also an orthodontist,
Oh,
but as an independent woman, I kind of wanted to raise my own trail. And I realized I was pushing back against something that really was a natural yes. So I love dentistry and especially love orthodontics because it can combine a little bit of psychology, science, cheerleading, and art. And those are things that I'm more
There's always a lot of
passionate
art with the services and the orthodontia and the other things that
about. Right. A lot
I mean, just even the shaping of crowns and all of that.
exactly. It's like little mini craft projects every day
Yeah.
I'm doing.
It's true. It really is true. I mean, I'm sitting there watching when I watch the
I
videos.
can change my field. Did you hear that? She's a little mini craft project.
Yeah.
I was thinking
I
of you,
love craft
Betsy.
projects.
That's right. I was
That's
thinking
all
of
you
you.
need is me in the office. And let's draw the picture of your new team.
That's right.
I've got the markers.
You'd be great at doing all of the stuff around our walls, all the projects that we get to do
Right.
for patients and make it super fun.
All right.
Right.
Well,
And we do a lot of that. Like this week we had Domino Day, so the
Uh-huh.
whole team dressed up as different members of
Oh,
Dominoes.
that's so cute.
We
Oh.
have Crazy
That's
Hair
just
Day.
right.
We have all sorts of fun stuff, so that the experience just becomes one that's comfortable and enjoyable.
Well,
I'm sorry, my phone. Do you do regular dental work as well? Or
No, I do
you
not.
just
So
focus
after
on,
dental school, I went for an additional 3 years of training to just specialize
so
in
you just do that. Okay.
And I think it's good for
Not just, I
the
don't mean
viewers to know that. And I just had a consultation the other day, and the mom had a good consultation, and she had to meet with at her dental office. And so I asked her, "Oh, does an orthodontist go in there?" She goes, "No, it's by my dentist." Which is great. Some dentists know if it's easier cases, that's a great path to go. But you just want to be aware that they did not go to ortho school, so they don't have that extra 3 years of training.
That's good
Once
to
you
know.
go to ortho school, you actually cannot practice dentistry and call yourself an orthodontist. But you can do the opposite. You can go to dental school, do like a couple of seminars, and then practice orthodontics.
That's good.
Interesting.
It is. It's different. So it's good to know.
Yeah, that really is good to
Buyer,
know.
beware again, right? Well, I want you to say out loud for everyone listening, and we'll also have it on the webpage, just how to find you, because now everyone's like, oh, well, where's the office near me? So could you just tell them about the website and where to go?
Sure. So probably the easiest way to figure out which location is going to be closest to you is go to www.aabraces.com. That's www.aabraces.com.
All about braces. See?
That's
It's
right.
all about braces.
A braces.
Okay, so we like to ask a couple girly questions
Okay.
now.
We're ready.
We are girly.
Okay.
So we like to talk about when it was hard. What did you learn? Because everybody looks at successful people, right? Oh, really? So easy to own all those orthodontic practices. She just makes all kinds of money, and it's so easy. You know, people make up stories about people that they consider successful. So we always like to ask, tell us about your path and when it was tough, and what kind of things along your path, the choice points we call them, did you learn?
So in my age range, there's only about 15% of the orthodontic population. And probably my first exposure to that was when I was applying to dental school. My dad was on faculty, and I was surrounded by people who were interviewing me, who I also knew socially and knew their families. At the end of the interview, well, probably the last question that they asked me was, we know family is very important. How do you juggle? How do you plan on juggling family and a career?
Oh, yeah.
And
I've been
that's not a question that would be asked today, I hope, because it's the norm for many women to juggle a family and career. And we see men hopefully also juggling a family and career. And that's actually how I responded. I said to them, well, I know all of you are very involved with your families. Tell me, I'm new at this. How will I juggle a family and career? And they kind of giggled like they knew that wasn't what they meant,
Right.
but they couldn't get out of it.
That's great. That's a great answer.
I was sure that I would not get admitted to that program, but I did.
Well, I've been asked that question too. That's a, they don't do that anymore, but they used to.
And my boss, she's just so mean. She said, "Good luck." My boss is me. My boss is me. I just only have me. And
That's
so
right.
I just be me, I guess.
And I would say that the thing that one of the many things that I learned so much about my profession is that most of the assistants are young women who may or may not have had strong female role models in their world. And so we really push education in our practice. And we have women who have gotten certified, gone for advanced degrees, and that probably was never on their list.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
one of your
What a great
right now
company.
is trying to go to dental school,
Actually,
right?
two. We have two that are taking prereqs for dental school.
That's
And
awesome.
just like Dr. Marchand, I wrote his letter of rec for dental school. We have had other staff members where we've done the same.
Oh, that's awesome. What a great company. That's really, it's so nice to hear what's behind the scenes, and if you're going to spend, and it isn't a cheap date usually, so if you're going to spend
No, it's an
money,
investment.
it's an investment.
Right.
And if you're going to invest in a company, in the person, and in yourself, most importantly, invest in yourself. But to spend those resources wisely with companies that do great things. So this would make me very happy. My kids are already grown up and already paid for their braces. So
I
sorry.
told you.
But
We were
my
interested.
husband
We
might
got
come
you.
in.
We got
But-
that's all good.
We know about using that process. Okay, KJ, what about your path? Has it ever been, challenging either in your personal or professional life?
I would say with different things. I mean, I'm the baby of 7, so I felt like I was always following in footsteps and everything, and obviously I kind of continued to do that whenever I went into this path. But then, I would say whenever I was little, I went up to boarding school, which I chose to do, which was really fun. I was not a bad child. I had a bag to go. But leaving home, finding that independence, kind of breaking away at that age, kind of made me go back to my family afterwards. But I lived there for 4 years, and it was an experience, and it was growing, and it was ever changing. But it was also totally different from anything I knew. I was away from my parents until they decided to follow all of us from Georgia out to Colorado. Away from most of my siblings, besides one that went to boarding school for the one year whenever I was there. So I would say that probably changed me the most, and that's the age that you're changing the most anyway.
That probably gave you the real sense of independence that you wouldn't have got as a baby of the family, for sure.
Right.
Sarah has 30 hours and she will be on her ship. So,
Wow.
amen and amen, and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
We're boarding, that's a boarding school reference for those of you who didn't listen to previous shows on My Daughter's Awesome Things. Awesome. So, what are you guys excited about now? What's hot? Like, I know we had a run today, gathering socks. It's probably back to school season.
What's the free health fair that's coming up? Isn't there something?
Yeah, so on August 24th, we're running a free healthcare fair at our Monaco and Evans location. We'll have lots of people doing wonderful screenings in all sorts of areas of healthcare, as well as fun bouncy houses for the kids, art projects. We give away, I don't know how many hundreds actually, of bikes and backpacks for school.
Wow.
So it's a really, really fabulous
That's great.
community event of giving back.
August 24th.
August 24th. When you're there, look at the wonderful mural we have on the wall. That mural is actually a result of a competition, a scholarship competition we had for art clubs in high schools in the area. And the team that won got to use that as their art space.
Nice,
Cool.
nice. And if you want socks for that, let's talk. Because
Awesome.
You might give them some socks to give away.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
And you
it's a
don't-
warehouse full.
And I know you donate
Absolutely.
toothbrushes and things like that.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we also ask you your global statement for women. And it's really just so people are listening, and we just like to sometimes we edit these down, and especially next year, we're going to have the technology to edit these down really easily. So, KJ, what is your global statement? What would you speak into the hearts of women?
I would say that mine would be that every true queen fixes each other's crown. And I think for that, because so many women, instead of like building each other up in like either personal lives, like school and everything else, work environments, you can sometimes be so in like the grind of things, or, you know, am I going to get that promotion? Am I going to be the next whatever? Instead of being like, you know what, maybe they're better qualified at that. Like, why don't I push them to do that more than
That's
I do in
awesome.
that field?
I thought you were meaning crowns of teeth.
I was going to say,
I thought that was a total
Well,
reference.
you know,
That's
I
what I
did, but no, yeah, and then like, you know,
Yeah,
we're all things in our own
I
world,
liked
yeah.
the good old list.
That's
That's
good.
awesome.
That was perfect.
And I would say live your life with tenacity and gratitude. Tenacity so that you can get the job done, and gratitude so that you're happy doing it along the way and appreciate all that is out there.
Well,
Awesome.
that's great. Great quotes from both.
Well, I want to take 1 second before we do the cards and ask about camp experience, because KJ went for the first time last year.
Right.
So I would like you to tell the world about why they might want to get those 10 spots that are left for camp experience.
I would say for one, it was life changing. I went there not knowing really what to expect. I think we were pretty new. I was new to talk about some letting me go to the camp meetings and all the things that just so happened that I was able to go. And I went there a little nervous, not knowing many of the women, and left with like tons of friends, tons of memories. But the main part that I would say is just hearing the stories and hearing how everything that different women have gone through and all of the different things that all these different people were doing in their own communities and everything. I just left feeling so empowered and so motivated and like thankful for everything. So I would say it was definitely life changing. I loved it.
You hear that, everybody? 10 spots left. Camp experience. Camp experience fall retreat. Okay. So you get to pick a card. This is our final thing you do. So you just pick a random card. Each one you get to pick a card, and then you just you got to read it and answer it. And it's just a random thing. So whoever wants to go first.
All right, my question is, what book do you wish you had written and why? And I think I may say Harry Potter, although that's probably very cliche. Why? Because Hermione Granger's parents are dentists, so it showed both her mother and father strong women, and he doesn't want to live in a magical world.
I love that answer. Very good answer.
That is
Okay,
really
KJ,
good.
what's yours?
So if you were stuck on a deserted island with only one other person, whom would you choose? And I would have to say that this is a hard one, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would say famous women or different things in those areas, but I would actually have to say my daughter. She keeps me in the present and keeps me in the moment, so if months went by, I probably wouldn't realize as much as if I was there with other people.
Nice. That is
Yeah,
so cute for
it's-
all of us that are moms. It's so nice, your daughter, your son. Well, we could have you on for the whole show, but we've got to, keep moving some things for Cheryl. But thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for your partnership with camp. Let's help us raise over $1 million and just a really sharing good in the world. And we will talk this week about your upcoming event. And then we'll look forward to having you, I'm going to see both at Camp Experience. I'm going out there.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate it too. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Take care.
We'll see you there.
For a second, as we get into our next segment.
That's cool.
See, all the women.
I'm in love with their business. I have to tell you this. Honestly, I love businesses that function that way. I just hope everyone out there, if you need braces, you really consider giving them a whirl and seeing if you do.
Well, I had a retainer. Did you have a retainer?
I had one tooth that had
braces?
to be turned in the back, so I had to wear this wire and it just turned the tooth.
Oh.
Was it?
Well, I just remember growing up, I had really big spaces in front of my teeth,
Okay.
and I had a retainer, but that didn't really stop it. But going to college and naturally, it stopped it. But I have a dental fact about me.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
Here we go.
Guess what I don't have any of?
Molars.
True, because I had them out. Guess what else I don't have any of? And I'm 58. Go ahead.
Cavities.
Cavities. I don't have any cavities.
I have a ton.
So you have all mine?
I have
You have
all
mine?
yours, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, it's it's a freakish thing. Like I brush my teeth so much because I totally did not want to ever have to have a drill.
I lost my enamel because I took that tetracycline when I was a kid.
Oh.
Back then they didn't ruin teeth, so
Oh.
my enamel was really weak. So these are all capped.
Oh, gosh. Well, by the magic of the Blues Car Radio Studio, our next guests have appeared.
Yay! And we love her, Cheryl Talley.
Cheryl Talley, the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Jazz.
Jazz hands
Hi,
for
Cheryl.
sure.
Hi, how are you?
Excited to talk to you.
I'm excited to be here.
We have a lot in common, but Cheryl works with Catholic Charities.
Yes.
And so we're going to have her tell us a little bit about the many ministries and some of the things that they do, as well as focusing today a little bit more on the shelter.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Catholic Charities, thank you so much for having me today.
Yes.
And we just chatted a little bit before, so we do have so much in common, so I'm excited about this. But yeah, so Catholic Charities is probably a little bit under-marketed, which is really hard for me to say because I'm the director of marketing, so we're trying to really market
That's
this
why
out.
I have you
That's why
into
I'm
it.
here.
Yes.
It is under market.
It is. So it's actually the first time in the history of Catholic Charities that we actually have a marketing department. We've always had somebody who, did donor relations, but now we actually are out there going out and really telling our story and telling the story of the people that we serve. And we serve a lot of people, 100,000 people last year alone. We have 76 locations around the state. We start at County Line Road in Douglas County, go to Casper, Wyoming, out to Glenwood Springs, out to Fort Morgan. So we are all over Colorado, 76 locations, and that's just crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So so it's a great place to work because you see miracles every day. I witness them. My office is literally above a shelter of 225 women downstairs. So it's every day it's motivation. You can see them coming in the morning, and we serve them breakfast. We serve them dinner at night, and it's a crazy thing to witness firsthand when you can see somebody's life being changed. So.
And you can really see that because sometimes their life is changed by a very simple gesture. Just knowing someone cares. Just knowing there's a place they can go to try to get out of that situation.
It's really true. I mean, especially in the women's shelter here, and just to go a little back a little bit, we have 4 shelters in Colorado. One in Fort Collins, one in Greeley, and then we have 2 shelters here actually 3 shelters here in the Denver metro area. So one is it's technically interim housing, so it's for women who are experiencing domestic violence. So we serve about 16 families in that shelter, and then we have women's emergency shelter, which would be 225 women, and that's kind of a lower barrier to entry. Anybody who kind of comes in and just needs help, and then we can transition them over to Samaritan House, or sometimes we transition right directly to Archdiocesan Housing or housing because they just need somebody to help them. And so we see that, which is kind of a miracle too, because when we first took over the shelter, they said, "Oh, these women are unsalvageable. They are never going to, they're going to be, they're in the system forever." And that was not our experience. We just started talking to them. And so it went from 60 women coming to our shelter to 225. We had to expand. And unfortunately, women who are who are homeless tend to be, I guess, a third over the age of 50. So which is kind of a shocking thing. We had a 98-year-old woman. I thought that was a mistake. 98-year-old woman who came into shelter because they don't have a support group. So,
Right. And
and
they don't make enough on social
and they don't make
Security.
enough on Social Security, and maybe they don't know enough how to get the services that we can provide them, and that's how we can transition them. But they're also the hidden homeless. They're not the ones that are counted. So they're the women who will hide in cars, hide behind not the normal places that you see them with the
And the families do the same thing.
and families.
Because I participated in the count for many years, and when you go out and look for people to count them, on
Right.
one day there's a point in time,
Mhm.
and it's
Point in
one
time.
day,
Mhm.
and you got
You know
the
it.
homeless, and
Yeah.
that's how the government assesses their funds. But the reality is that families and elderly and people of that nature, they're not, you can't find them, and they're hidden.
That's right.
So there's many more homeless than the statistics show.
And actually, it's what a really shocking statistics here in Colorado. I mean, I don't want to be throwing facts at you here, but we are the third largest population of unsheltered families in America.
Yes, and you know that the U.S. has more people living homeless and in poverty than any other civilized country in the world.
It's really
I do not know either of those facts.
it's kind of a sad fact, but we are making headway. I mean, one thing we have learned is that we're not actually seeing an increase in the number of homeless people in Colorado. That it's actually on a steady or slow decline.
That's good.
But the families, that's where the differentiator is that they're not declining. They're just staying the same. And I think, there's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, the high cost of living in Denver, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. Something happens, and then you see themselves homeless. And because we are the largest shelter for families, we see such a success rate. We're so good at it. 99% of our people actually go on to stable housing and stable living.
When you say families, is that mother, father, and children, or is it just women and children in the middle?
So we have the domestic violence shelters, women and children, and it's just that's it. But in our in Samaritan House, which is it's actually under renovation right now to increase the number of rooms. We're going from 21 to 25. We do multi-generational families. We do. So we have one of our great stories. If you go to and you follow us on Faces of Hope on our website, dcdenver.org /Faces of Hope.
There you go.
You can find out these stories. We had a family that was a grandmother, a father, and a daughter. The mother had some issues, and she was out of the picture. The father was trying to keep them together. Something happened, which caused them to be homeless, so they wanted to stay together as a family because that had been their family. And we were the only shelter that would accept them because we take them.
Because most of them do not do that. They split them up, which is hard.
It is hard, and they also split up, which is kind of a shock. Teenage boys. So if you're a family with a teenage boy, they won't accept you. So we're the only shelter that accepts
And there's a
teenage
lot
boys.
of weather shelters too, like bad weather shelters that won't take children.
Right. Well,
Many of them will not accept children.
That's right. So we do have some community partners that do accept children, but it's not. It's very rare. So
It's weird.
it's very rare. Yeah.
I have a question for you regarding some of the shelters and those types of things. I think that why don't you share with us? I know it's one of your fun facts, but I think Denver should be really proud of Catholic Charities for what they've done for homeless. But why don't you tell about this?
My fun fact.
Yeah.
Okay, my fun fact. Well, the thing about Samaritan House, which sets us apart, is that it was started by Father Woody in 1986, and he wanted to create something that was just going to solve the problem. He wanted to do the hands up, not the hand out. So he started this shelter, which became the model for all shelters in America.
It's the first one.
The first one in America that is actually a supportive, 120-day program with case management. They actually thought through the whole thing. How can they create this program for somebody who's actually going to transition out of homelessness? Not just a soup kitchen, not just an overnight shelter. It is a way to reclaim their life and restore dignity.
And it's become the model all over the country. It was the very first one in the country. Of course, our Father Woody is like I think he's like the patron saint of Denver.
He is the patron saint. There's a lot of patron saints out there that are serving the poor, but he is one of those people that
He was a wonderful man.
Wonderful man, and all over Denver, he's touched so many different,
all over,
everywhere.
He's
So
great.
he's an amazing man, and
he passed away about 15 years
about
ago.
15 years ago, but people still talk about him like he's in the present. So
I know, you kind of feel like he's there.
he really
Especially
is.
when you go down to the shelter.
He's in the. There's pictures of him everywhere, and people talk about him like he's in the present. And
So that's the kind of legacy on
yeah,
it.
it is. That's
She's here somewhere. I don't know. There's stuff. There must be Betsy.
you're stuck. You're going to leave it.
Well, and she also, so not being Catholic myself, right? Could you explain, like, Catholic Charities is the name, but you don't only serve people that are Catholic. Could you just kind of explain? Because I think a lot of times people look at a name and say, oh, well, if I'm Catholic and homeless, right? But tell them really how the mission works.
Well, it actually, we serve because we're Catholic. I think that's the Bishop Fulton Sheen that said that back in the day. We serve because we're Catholic. And actually, just even at Catholic Charities, I would say at about 460 employees. We don't even know how many, but we only estimate about a third that are Catholic. But we just ask that you just help and serve the poor. We always ask the question, we don't serve you because you're not Catholic, we serve because you're Catholic. So we ask the question, are you hungry? Are you tired? Do you need a place to stay? How can we help you? If you can answer yes to any of those questions, then we're there to serve you. And that's what's so nice, about us is that it's not just shelter services, because Catholic Charities is a part of a network. Yeah. So we have 28 separate programs, and Samaritan House is supported by those programs. We have counseling, we have early childhood education. We have so many other programs that support one another. So we have stories of people who come into early childhood education, and a third of our students there are experiencing some form of homelessness. So then we'll get them into the shelter because they've been couch surfing.
Integrated.
Yeah, so it's very integrated, and they get counseling, they get help. I mean, so it is the entire network of services once you any entree point at Catholic Charities.
Well, how did a nice girl like you get into a job like this?
Well,
Yeah,
so there you
What's your
go.
story?
What's my story? So I guess I have to go back to I was listening to we're dating ourselves today. So I go back to high school. Let's just go back there. So I want to go back to before that. But I remember being in high school. And my teacher, I was in honors math class. There was 8 people in honors math, 4 girls, 4 boys.
At least you can count.
That's right. That's right. So that's why I was in honors math. So anyway, I remember the teacher coming in and saying, for the boys who want to go into engineering, we're going to have the professor come in and talk about engineering. And I'm like, sister, I want to go into engineering. And she said, well, please, just for the boys. So of course, I went to the meeting after all, and I brought all the women with me. And I said, I really knew I wanted to be kind of take on the world. And so at the time, and this is again dating myself, in the 80s, I wanted to go to Wall Street. So after college, I went on Wall Street and I became a fixed income institutional salesperson. So that's a fancy way of saying I was a bond salesperson in the 80s. So I thought that was and being in the 80s and being on Wall Street was a really exciting time. And, you feel like you're really taking on the world, and you feel like you're also everything that's happening. And I really thought that's what I wanted to do. But there was something missing, right? So I started volunteering. So volunteering has been a part of my life ever since. And I always had this real heart for the homeless. So I started working Catholic Charities in Chicago and helping that program. And then my husband and I started our own business, and it was going really well. Then when my husband passed away, everything fell apart, right? So I had a group of people that surrounded me, just fabulous friends that helped me out, my family. And I thought, wow, if I didn't have this support group, I'd be homeless. So here I was, starting on Wall Street, at the top of the world, starting my own business. My life turned around, but because I had family, because I had friends, my life was different. And I just said, I have to give back now. It's time for me to pursue things that are really use my gifts to help people and to be that voice. I wish I had a very loud voice up in Jersey. So,
Jersey voice.
My Jersey accent too. But I felt it was my turn to really help others and to be the voice for those who had no voice. So I had started on with Catholic Charities about 5 years ago, and it's been a really great experience. I just love my job and love being the voice for those who have them. So that's my story.
Well, first, I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
Time doesn't change that.
No.
And what a story, though. I mean, just to go from basically, riches to rags, right? When you're like you said, on top of the world, and life can twist you like that. And that's what happens to so many people. Mm-hmm. And it's, a lot of people have a myth that the face of a homeless person is a scraggly old person who's been drinking for 40 years, living under a bridge, and there's no hope. Right. But that's at least I don't believe it. I think 50% of our people are homeless or not. That's not what we're talking about.
No, I mean, you really see, I mean, I can tell you from just my anecdotal experience, just watching, people come through our doors, but talking to them, I have the honor of actually hearing their stories, and, it's a series of things that happen, and it takes them down a path.
What about Jennifer?
Oh, Jennifer. Jennifer was one of those women who had experienced domestic violence, and she had a child. She was pregnant with her second, and she experienced domestic violence and came to our doors at Samaritan House. And the thing about her, she was just so broken. But then, with Samaritan House helping her, navigate how to get back her life, she went back to school, and now she's going to get her degree in social work. And she has kids that are doing really well now. They actually were in our early childhood education, and now she's the president of the advisory board on our early childhood education.
Wow.
So here's a person who, had no, hope and had no for the future, right? And then suddenly now she is not only has hope for the future, she's passing on what she's learned, and she is leading in the community and helping those. So that's a great story.
We've got an upcoming Sam Supper.
Yeah, so I am again looking for a date.
Yeah, she's looking for a date.
I'm coming to Sam Supper, and I know Kyle Dyer's going to be there, so
Yes.
she's your MC. So
Yes.
I can glom onto her because she's also a camp sister. But tell everyone about the Sam Supper,
Oh.
and then everyone come with me, and maybe Ron will come.
When is it?
Please do. It's actually the most fun event because it is Colorado casual, so you don't have to put on anything fancy, but we all kind of like get a little, the lace and the boots or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to wear. Come on down to Sam's Supper. It's the meal that serves many. So it supports all our shelter services. It's on September 14th. We have it at Mile High Station. You can get your tickets at samsupper.org, or you can just look at ccdenver.org to find out anything about Catholic Charities. But samsupper.org is where you can get your tickets. We have dancing. We were actually at the Ironworks. We have a little cocktail hour, and we're Catholics, so we drink. So you can come on down.
You can drink and dance and play cards if you're Catholic.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. And bingo. Don't forget the bingo.
Yeah, bingo.
We got bingo. It's a big trophy.
We love bingo.
We love bingo.
Yeah.
And so, it's a great event. It's, Mile High Station, if you haven't been there, it's really, really a fabulous venue. One of the reasons why I chose it, though, back in the day, and now we continue to do it there, is that it's under the underpasses.
It's a great venue.
Yeah, it's a great venue. So it's very much reminiscent of where the homeless live, right? Where they sleep under the underpasses. So we wanted to kind of make you see that, just 15 feet away from where we're having venue, there could be somebody sleeping under an underpass, and that's what we're there to do, and trying to help them, come into the shelter, and find a path to a new way of life. So.
Well, it's going to be a very fun night. I can't even wait. It's my first time, and it will be your first time at Camp Experience.
We're so excited. We'll
I
get
know.
caught up on all the
Yay.
Catholic stuff. It's like they took us to work at the
Yes.
university.
Rhonda will be
We
there.
did a lot with that. And I also
know.
worked at Family Tree.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
so-
I mean,
Hillary
And I was
will be
president of the board for
there.
Stride, which was Catholic homeless.
well, that's really exciting about, Denver right now. I think that this is the first time, the past year they started this Homeless Leadership Council, so they have a really great network of shelters that work together. I call them like the Big Five, all the Denver Rescue Mission, a great relationship with them. And I don't know if you remember the bomb cyclone that happened a few months back, back when it was cold. We teamed up with the Denver Rescue Mission. Their power went out, so we served everybody at Denver Rescue Mission, and took everybody over from the their overflow and had them in our building. So it's just been a great experience this past year with all the shelters and stuff. So yeah.
And at Camp Experience this year, we have something called the Boutique, and we all donate clothing and gently used items. We sell it. We give 100% of the money to charity, and then at the end, we will donate all the rest of that to your people, to your.
Yes.
I always think about the beautiful women really getting beautiful things that we've all donated, and that's just part of that cycle of us
Yeah.
being able to give them something fun to wear, something to feel good at, something to stay warm, and
It's so important. I worked. That's actually how I started volunteering at Catholic Charities here in Denver, as I was in the clothing room. So my job on Sunday nights was to help women and men find clothes so they can go on interviews, or they can just wear, because a lot of them don't even have good clothes. So it's great when we have that clothes, because they come in and they see that outfit and they feel so special, and it's really important for their self-esteem. So,
Well, I'm glad to see you doing some outreach too, because I think the community is not aware of all the wonderful things that Camping Charities does for everyone, not just camping.
Right, and that's why Camp Experience is so happy to have you as a partner to get that story out. So what are your questions?
oh, this is like my fear of the day. So, what do you think the perfect size family is? Okay, so the perfect size family is whatever family that you're in.
Perfect.
So, I mean, it doesn't make a difference. You can be a family of two, a family of even one. You can be a family of 10. I don't care, as long as you're happy and that you're all working together as a family and love is in the center. So.
Oh,
Great
very
answer.
good
Great
See,
answer.
Well, we just love having you on the show. We will definitely be having you back next year.
I can't wait to see you, Kim.
I know, I'm so excited.
It'll be really fun. I think you're really going to love that personally and professionally, and so many people will get to hear more about Happy Charity. And we'll have you on the panel and we'll tell you your story, and we have some surprises. So, other than that, that's what we got for you.
Okay, well, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, so look up Cheryl, look up Catholic Charities, and who wants to be my date for the stand supper on the 14th? I'm really not kidding. Betsy at campexperience.com. If you're in the Denver area, I'm going. I'm getting a bunch of people to go. We're going to have super much fun.
So much fun.
I'm wearing a darling bling jean jacket and wait till you see my shoes. But other than that, that's all I'm going to tell you. I know.
You have the bling to match.
I've been blinging stuff for camp. I'm going to preview it.
She's done
Catholic
bling.
Charities.
She's done bling
I'm going
bazonka.
to add some more bling to my hair. It's all bling.
Yeah.
It's all bling for Sam.
I'm gonna do bling too.
Good.
I want bling.
She's
Okay,
bling.
so hair people, just
Hair
go in.
people,
This
okay.
Thursday night, actually. Having an event. Oh, so speaking of that, yeah. So what a great show, huh?
Oh my gosh, yes.
What do you
Great folks doing things for the community and helping others. That's always warms my heart to see all the wonderful people that are helping make Denver a great place to live.
Yeah, and it takes it takes a village literally. Like we were just talking about that in so many contexts that we had a memorial service yesterday, as you know, for Dr. Bill Lee, and Dr. Bill Lee was a guest on the show June 22nd, and he passed in 2 weeks, and he had probably 350 people at a memorial yesterday, and just so quickly in life, right?
And we're sitting here chatting with him, and 2 weeks later he was gone.
2 weeks.
And
he was great on the show. He was talking about why you age. But here's something I'd like to share, and I think it's worth the time on the show. His whole philosophy was do hormone replacement, take your vitamins, live a vibrant life, and go all the way along feel as great as you can, and when you're done, be done.
That's exactly what happened.
Deteriorating, right? And
That's
he does
exactly
this
what
whole thing in his speeches. He'd say, go, 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 see ya. Right? And what did he do?
He did that.
He
That's exactly what he did.
live. Boom. And we talked about that at the memorial and the celebration yesterday, that like, how do you want to go? And me, I'm that. I want to go.
Me
Too. And I do hormone replacement. I'm having a great experience with that. And just trying to stay as vibrant as I can and walk. And Cheryl, you have to tell him. I'm expanding.
Oh gosh.
Tell him of your mutterness.
Okay, so I had this thing. Every year I have a theme, and this year is face your fears. So I decided to do obstacle courses. So I did the Spartan race. And that was a roo. And then this past weekend I did Tough Mudder 2 weekends ago.
Oh, I love that.
Which is it took me 4 days to get the mud out of my hair. But everybody kept on saying to me, "Wow, your skin looks really fabulous." I said, "Yes, I bathed in mud." And you're like,
that was a great fun thing.
It's so much fun, and so the same kind of thing. I'm living it large.
Yeah, so. That's what you do.
And I think that's what this show is all about too. Many of you who have listened all around the world and our audience on Facebook, we try to bring good news and good works like Catholic Charities is doing, like Hillary and KJ and Colorado Orthodontics. I mean, they are talking the talk and walking the walk. They're in the trenches, and of course, those families are coming to buy braces, which are not inexpensive, but they're putting the people in place to make that experience.
And they're helping others who can't afford it too.
Yeah,
that's really
And
cool.
Rhonda, how many events do you have? 700 events for Camp Wapi Api this month?
My God,
Vegas,
it's
like
crazy.
every minute.
It's pretty nuts. I work at Camp Wapi Api because that's a free summer camp for children that have cancer and their siblings. And we have got a golf tournament Monday. We've got another golf tournament in Colorado Springs on Friday. And then we have a couple other small things, and then we have we call it a mini gala coming up September 26th at the Welshire. And if you want to participate in any of those things, the golf tournament in Colorado Springs in Falcon, Colorado is cheap for golf tournaments, $100, and it includes everything.
Nice.
And so you can just go there, and you have to give them a call at Antler Creek Golf Course. They're taking it by phone, so just look up Antler Creek, Falcon, Colorado. Call, sign up, $100. Cart, 18 holes, lunch, the whole bit.
Oh, wow.
And it's the Media Cup for Colorado Springs, so you'll be golfing with all kinds of folks. immediately.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. And then tonight's a big night for me because I'm going to my 45th high school reunion.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, that's fun. So it must be the season because my sister had her 50th last week. You're your 45th, and I'm going to be home in Indiana. Unfortunately, you're
I
gala
have to
night.
do the math. I don't think
It's my 40th.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the 45th. It should be fun.
Well, and then Camp Experience is coming September 20
Yep.
through 22nd in Colorado Springs. We have about 10 spots left, so if you're interested, campexperience.com or campexperienceretreat.com
And
is kind of our landing page.
Cooking for life, photography, archery, nature hikes, arts and crafts, doing good deeds, and going out and helping the community in Colorado Springs, as well as meditation and high ropes course and just anything you can think of. And plus, it's just getting together with your friends. It is a great
it's a very
time.
deep dive into amazing women. So imagine all the coolest women you've ever met that are in a
Except
great big, and Rhonda, in a great big camp where we have delicious wine, beautiful food, organic meals, a labyrinth to walk, oils to bathe yourself in, shopping, spa services, and Hazel Miller doing karaoke.
And we've got
Hazel
Missouri.
Miller's coming, and
I
she
can't
is
wait.
gonna
I'm
do
not singing
karaoke.
with Hazel Miller. I'm telling you that right now.
I tell
I'm
ya.
doing it.
But there's also somebody whose daughter's coming who happens to be like a big actress. And I'm like, will she be in the talent show? Because, our talent's kind
Oh
of
yeah.
talents and quote. Maybe you'll do some comedy this
I
year.
might. I haven't done it in a few years. Maybe I will.
I got an idea for some comedy. You
All right,
might
I
want
might
to
try
do
it.
it. I'm
And we
gonna
have
also
Brittany Curry, the silver
Brittany
medalist.
Curry, the silver medalist from the Olympics, and she's probably going to bring some other people. We're trying to get Sammy, who's the pentathlete, who I think is already on the Olympic team.
Excellent.
Wow.
So some of the Olympians will be there. Amazing auction.
Mm-hmm.
One of the auction items is Tell Your Story with Betsy and Kyle Byron. Because I met Kyle through giving a speech, and Kyle's very involved with Catholic
Very
Charity,
involved, yeah.
and
I
Cheryl
love
was
her.
at that
She's
speech.
great.
And so she is going to come down and be part of camp, and she's our final keynote, How I Learned to Listen.
So that's going to be great.
And that's
Kyle is great. She really
in the
is.
sanctuary, so it's going to be awesome.
Gina Schreck, you've got Timothy Norse, you've got Laura Newman,
We have
you've
two
got
really
Hazel
cool
Miller.
doctors. We have a women's kind of health doctor to talk about some of that stuff. So it's just, for those of you who don't know what this is, it's really just education, inspiration, connection, all packed into a weekend of having fun. So we say do good and have fun.
Yep.
So if you're interested, please grab one of those spots. But one thing I do want to do is I want to
Say it
donate.
again, Camp Experience.
Campexperience.com is the entire network. 3 networking events called Camp Connections every month, plus something called Coffee and Conversation every month. Then social events, we have one next week on Thursday, the Hair People Hair Bling Night.
And being a part of the group, I'm going to interrupt you so you know, you don't have to pay to be part of the Camp Experience Network.
Right.
If you go to some of these activities like the camp, of course you are, but the rest of the stuff you can go network. It
Everything is
doesn't cost
free.
anything.
All the sponsors chip in, so everything is free throughout the year, and you pay to go to the conference. But I would like to present to Catholic Charities some socks and also toothbrushes and toothpaste. Because I bet you have a bid somewhere.
We do have a
And
bid.
Thank you for from KJ and from Hillary. They brought all this, and I think
This is
you can
fabulous.
take it home in your purse.
Yes,
and
I can.
some lucky kids and moms will have some.
Oh, it's wonderful. They love that.
That's
Especially
right.
back to school. This is so great. They love these socks.
Yeah.
Socks are the number one thing that homeless people need.
Number one thing.
Their feet get really bad.
Yeah, it is amazing how much we go through, and we just don't get socks. People usually donate clothes, but they don't get
Okay.
socks.
Well, I
so-
have a hookup for you.
Yeah.
Though.
So you got a sock
I'll get
hookup.
some socks campaign,
Yay!
and I will. There will be socks in your future.
I said my future.
I
I'm
can
so
predict
I'm
the
so
prediction.
excited.
There's socks in your future. Well, you get to
Excited.
celebrate the end of the show with me and Rhonda. We do something
Okay.
silly. I think we let our special guest draw the card.
Oh yeah, let her drive the car.
Okay.
Oh.
Because you've already done your one card, but we always try to do a kind of an insight. And my
So another
insight.
one I have to answer.
No, we
answer.
So my big insight from today's show is women who can. It's so cool to see KJ's generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was that youngest of 7, who went away to boarding school to do it her own way, who got behind her dad, and then they got bought by the right practice because
Yeah.
Hillary really nurtures KJ, and she bloomed at camp last year.
Yeah.
So I think women who came would be mine. What would be your insight for the show?
One insight would be that everyone here discussed happiness and not meaning that you're jumping around. Maybe I should say joy. What I pulled from that is from the homeless is the joy that Catholic Charities brings to them, even if it's for a moment. People need joy in their life, and you can also carry joy in your life, without sitting around being giddy and laughing all the time. And I believe the same thing was in the message through the orthodontic people, because they were talking about joy, really, the joy of changing something that you're embarrassed by and not being happy with yourself and stuff. breakfast and then looking at it and realizing, wow, that's me. And that's an internal thing. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and I think that family, like you said, family is however many that you're loved by, that you share love with.
It's all about love.
Yeah,
That's why we're here. To share the love.
and I think that that's what's really cool. That's what bonds kind of Camp Experience. It's the family of Camp Apiapi. It's the family of Happy Charities, and it's the family of us as Camp Sisters who just say, we do good and have fun. Come on in.
Do good and have fun. Is that like the best tagline ever?
Thank you. I think it is, but
It is good.
it's kind of what we just realized that we always did. And then I think it's cool because now I can say, you need socks, I can make a call, and I have 30,000 socks.
And she has delivered so much clothes to me already.
Yeah, so read your name.
Okay, so when it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazing.
Good.
That's a good quote.
That's okay. Okay, one more time. When it's over, all I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement.
That's
It's
pretty
not
cool.
Helen Keller. I know most of you guessed that.
That's the all you guess is
I
Helen
know.
Keller. Helen Keller said everything.
So please, next week we have a music show because it's the holiday weekend. Betsy and Ron are going to have a wonderful music show for you, and then we have a grand finale, our year celebration show on September 14th. We will see you on Boost Power
See
Radio.
you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for our special guest.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
That was good.